animal had emotion and expressed them, but I was often said, no, Izabela, animal behavior is based on instinct. Yet, when I came home, my dog was very happy to see me. Yuppie would jump around and bark and wag her tail, and if she didn't like somebody, she showed her teeth and growled. And dogs are very affectionate, aren't they? When I go home nowadays, my dog, Pinocchio, puts his snout on my knees and just looks at me as if I am the Madonna.
She wore blue velvet, bluer than velvet was the night, softer than satin was light from the stars.
David Letterman was a very famous television person, comedian, made fun of it, and it became a way to make fun of me. But it actually, in the Italian tradition, only the day of the baptism. I don't have all this name in my passport, but in the day of the baptism, they give you the name. My name is Izabela. Then there is your godmother, and my godmother was my cousin, Fiorella. Then they give you the name of the grandmother, Friedel, my grandmother, and then the name of the saint, Giovanna. So Isabella, Fiorella, Giovanna, Friedel is the day that you are given the name in the church. And it's the only day that you have this forename, just as a tradition. A saint, my mother played Joan of Arc, and so she gave me Joan, Giovanna, and then my godmother, and then my grandmother. But it's not my official name. But because David Letterman is very famous, and he made fun of this, now people think that my passport has all these names, but it isn't. It's just one day. My name is Izabela Roselini. I only have two names.
She wore blue velvet, bluer than velvet were her eyes, warmer than May her tender sighs. Love was ours.
Tell me, what made you decide to come to Belgrade? I was so touched that you choose Belgrade to come, because you have all over the world your performances, and I felt proud.
Well, thank you. Well, I've never been here, so there was a curiosity to come to Serbia and come to Belgrade. Aya has a very big reputation, and even abroad. And Misha Baryshnikov, who is a very good friend of mine, recommended her, and he said, you'll be very happy in Belgrade. It's one of the best international festivals. And I know that it's mostly about dance, but it can be about expression of emotion. Even dance is the expression of the emotion. So although I don't dance, I talk about expression of emotion. So Aya, Misha, the fact that I've never been here, I wanted to come, and I have been very happy that I made that decision.
I know that empathy is the base of communication and expression of emotions. And what I couldn't do at the university, I do here in the theater. I want to reunite my heart with my brain, art and science. Maybe one day I will do a PhD, a doctorate on the subject of empathy. But for the moment, I'm here with you. I love you, and I want to be with you all my life.
You are talking about empathy.
Yes.
The society is developing. Everything is modern. Everything is going to the, highest possible technology, and the empathy is less and less and less. And I noticed that even here, people are turning their emotions toward the animals. More and more, people are having dogs, some animal at home. Before it was not the case here. No.
Well,
so you're coming in a right time to explain that.
Well, I didn't think, I don't want to be a preacher in any way. I'm trying to convert people to anything. When I went back to university to study animal behavior, which was a subject that interested me all my life, I I was so full of wonderment and surprises. But the language of science is a very difficult language, the paper that scientists write, and I always had difficulties understanding, but going to university, I had to learn that language. And I wanted to translate these things that I've learned, it was so amazing, into a more simple language and communicate what I had learned, which I think it was extraordinary. So I'm not doing this show to convert people in any way. Of course I loved animals, I was born with loving animals, and it has been confirmed to me in the most recent study that animals do have emotion and do have intelligence, and we are discovering right now what is their way of communicating and expressing the emotion, something that was denied to them until a few years ago.
When I'm blue, just for you. When I'm sad, it's all with you. Someone's living for their lover.
When you are on a stage, because I was watching the rehearsal, you're explaining it very, very much. But you know, the way like you go emotionally through it. I'm a psychoanalyst by profession, and I noticed that in fact you're trying, in fact, to transmit the feelings. And when you are describing it, me sitting there, I feel it. That means that this message is going through. It's going through.
Well, I mean, this is the first show that I really needed a director, and the director is a French director called Muriel Mayette, because I said to Muriel, if I, for example, in the moment where I do Avedon, and I say, he smiles, I smile back, he's serious, I got serious, and I am in the camera and you see it on the big screen, does it register? Does it register that my emotion, or it just looks like I'm making faces? And she said, no, it registers as long as you feel, you concentrate and feel the feeling, it registers. But I did need another pair of eyes. So it was wonderful to work with Muriel Mayette, and she's a director, but she's also an actress. And so I think she understood the expression of emotions, which is the core work of an actor.
When you talk about Casablanca,
Yes.
You are going emotionally to exactly the same scene. Are you aware of that? When you transmit a woman and her emotional thing between two men, you are going through it, you know.
Yes. Well,
you are.
Well, you know, Mother wrote what I'm saying in on the set is something that Mother wrote in her autobiography. And Casablanca is a film that is considered a big classic, a very romantic film about love. And they couldn't decide if Mother was going to stay with the husband or run away with the lover until the last minute. And then they finally did film the last scene with her going away with the husband and leaving Humphrey Bogart. And when they filmed that, they were going to film both scenes. But when they filmed that one, they loved it so much, they say, we have the ending. This is the ending that is going to stay. So they never eventually, but it was planned to film also a second ending and then try them out with the audience and see which ending was going to work. So a Mother says that, you know, exactly the same words that I say, that she asked the director, who am I in love with? I understand that I'm loyal to my husband and I admire him because he's a big hero of the resistance, but am I in love with Humphrey Bogart? And they said, we don't know, we haven't made that decision yet. And so Mother was frustrated as an actress because she didn't have the direction. But then she thought about observing that sometimes when people are confronted with a very strong emotion, they keep it very secretive. They don't show it. And she was going to have that expression of secretiveness in that close-up. That is a very beautiful close-up of my mom. So
you can love two persons. Why not?
Yeah, maybe
Why
you
not?
can. Yeah,
maybe you can. But the way how you are presenting that, I had the feeling, yes, you can love two men. Why not? Why not? Yeah,
it's complicated, but why not?
Why
Yes.
not? Why not? The thing is that that this empathy thing. Do you think you're born with it or you're learning it?
Well,
what is
I
your
think it's
feeling?
both. I think we're born with it because I think that in fact they're attributed to all animals, special social animals, when we live together in a group, we have to have empathy because we have to understand what are your intentions. So yes, language facilitates, you tell me what you feel, but you might tell me what you feel is not true. And I can read that you say, oh, I'm doing very well, but in fact you're very sad. And I can read that with empathy. And so I think we need empathy, and animals need empathy, especially animals that live in group, chimpanzees, bonobos, even I have goats and sheep, all animals that live together. They have to find ways to understand each other and negotiate how they live together. This idea that animals are machines and they just react to a stimulus, it's very ancient and has fallen out of favor in the ethology.
That you can live easier without empathy in today life?
I don't know, I mean, I'm not a philosopher or a sociologist. I don't think it's possible.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think empathy is there, and we learn it, little children learn it. Some of it's ingrained in us and it's part of our being, but when the child doesn't speak, he looks at the mother, and as Darwin says, the mother smiles, says, ooh, yes, yes, and the child knows that that's the way to behave, or frowns and says, no, and maybe knows that that's something he couldn't do. So it's already there, the communication. Words are not necessary, even among human beings. We teach our children more with gesture and expression of emotions than with words, because sometimes children don't speak the language until they are 2 or 3 years old.
Amy, are you faking emotions sometimes, you personally?
Oh, I'm sure I do, yes, I'm sure. Well, I'm sure we all do, you go to a dinner and you say, hi, hello, how are you? And you don't feel well at all, you want to go home, you want to go sleep, but you pretend, so yes.
Do you love to talk about your mother?
Do I like to talk about my mother? Yes, I do. She has been dead for a long time, and I both miss my parents. I'm sorry. My father died when I was 25, and my mother when I was 30. So I wasn't young, but of course, I didn't have my career. I didn't have my children. So my children have never met my parents, and that is very sad, because they only know them as the director or the actress, but they don't have a direct impression of them, and that is sad.
What I like when you are explaining that a model is asked to act during modeling.
Yes.
It is such an interesting point of view, because you have been in that situation.
Yes, I think so. I think the big models are actresses. Maybe they don't know how to use the voice, or maybe they don't know how to react to another actor. But photographers photograph emotions, and you have sometimes a model who may not be particularly beautiful, but has an incredible success because it's so emotional. And then her looks becomes a la mode and is accepted. I mean, I think of Linda Evangelista who's not blonde and perfect nose and perfect like Barbie, and yet she's such an extraordinary model that her beauty became accepted, but it was her talent as an emotional person in front of the camera that made her career.
She wore blue velvet, bluer than velvet was the night, softer than satin was light from the start.
What does it mean always to be right? Always to be right, always to be accepted, or, emotionally to be accepted? Because if you perform something, if somebody does not understand, it happens to you?
Well, of course. I mean, a film or a theater, it starts with the writer, and the writer has to write the correct psychological portrait of a person. And then you have director, and the director is the first audience that you have, and you play it this way and you play it that way, and the director might say, no, I want it more melancholic. No, you're hiding that you're sad, so please laugh, but be broken-hearted. And so you shape with the director and the writers the character.
Do you shape?
Sure, we shape always. I mean, the rehearsal. This
You
is
personally?
when we act, yes, of course, we need rehearsals, because this is what we do. The character I play, that scene, how do you play it? How do I move? This is always done with the other actors, with the writers,
But
with the directors.
Tonight, it was you.
Well, but I've
It was-
rehearsed.
it was
I did
you.
this show for a year. I've rehearsed this.
Yeah, but it's you. It's you. I felt it's you. Everything what you have been presenting, it was fully performed and felt from inside.
Yeah, of course, it's a monologue. It's a
Yeah,
monologue,
I
but of
love
course
it.
I rehearsed it.
I love it. And it goes through.
Okay, great.
You are trying to, you must not make an effort to understand. You just feel
I hope so,
you
because
feel
of course it's in English and we have subtitles, and there are two subtitle people.
I understood it.
Yeah, okay, great, good. It's hard because sometimes I'm not word perfect because I wrote it, so I'm not Shakespeare, so I change the words. And though the order of things is the same, I might
But the
paraphrase
emotions
that
are
word.
going through,
Okay,
the emotions
great,
are
great.
going through.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
felt it. I always wanted to meet you,
Oh, really?
Always, really, really. And the thing is that Baryshnikov
Yeah.
recommended
Yeah.
this. When he was here, it was a big event.
Yeah,
And
sure.
now when you are here, everybody's talking about.
Cat wags her tail when he's unhappy, dog wags her tail when he's happy. They express the emotion in the opposite way. Is this the reason why they don't get along?
And I was privileged because I saw the rehearsal, and I'm going to see the show again tonight.
Again. Yeah, and you might be able to see if acting without an audience or acting with an audience changes. Because it's very hard to act on stage where there is no reaction because it's empathy. So, for example, Andy and Rick that I work with, they say, speak slower. And I said, it could be that I will speak slower once I have an audience and I understand that they're listening, because then I pace myself. But when there is nobody, it's hard. And so I might speak faster. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I was enjoying it. I was enjoying it. And thank you very much for your time. And I
Thank
wish
you.
you all the very, very best.
Thank you.
And
Thank
stay
you so
the
much.
way you are, really. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
This world is big and wild and half insane. Take me where real animals are playing. Just a dirty old shack where the hound dogs bark that we called our home. I wanna be back there among the cats and dogs and the pigs and the goats on Animal Farm, my animal home. On Animal Farm, my animal home. though she's far from home. She's free from harm, and she need not fear. She's by my side.
Defending her bone.
On animal farm.